welcome. I'm glad you have joined us. I'm Alexandra, your instructor and a senior technical trainer here at Microsoft. I have been teaching for over 10 years with a current focus on data and AI courses. I live in Paris and I do speak 5 languages, so feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you would like to learn more or just say hello. I'm here to walk you through this course, Create Agents in Microsoft Copilot Studio. In this session, we will cover how to manage topics in Microsoft Copilot Studio. We will dive into one of the most important building blocks of your agents, topics in Copilot Studio. So let's get started with this session. And remember, all the content we cover is available on Microsoft Learn. You can access the materials for this session through the link displayed on my screen. Our objectives for this session are to create topics in Microsoft Copilot Studio, add trigger phrases, disable topics, delete topics, and configure notes. Let's dive in and explore each of these steps together. We'll begin with topic creation. Imagine a customer's interaction with a virtual agent as if they were chatting with a real person. Each conversation is unique, but they all share 3 main parts: the beginning, the discussion points, and the ending. Think of a topic as a mini conversation focused on a specific subject. By combining multiple topics, you can create an automated conversation that feels natural and flows smoothly, providing a seamless experience for the customer. In Copilot Studio, a topic shapes how an agent conversation unfolds. Think of topics as predefined conversational interactions that your agent can engage in. Each topic is activated either by a phrase entered by the user or by an event, such as an error. The topics you create for an agent define the types of interaction it can handle. Each topic comes with a set of triggers. It could be phrases, keywords, and questions that a customer might use related to a specific issue. Copilot Studio agents leverage natural language understanding, your customer's message, and the trigger phrases for all your topics to identify the best topic to trigger. The message doesn't need to exactly match a topic's trigger phrase to activate the topic. Let's take a simple example, the greetings topic. When a user types something like hi, hello, or good morning, the agent recognizes this as a trigger phrases and activates the greeting topic. The agent then responds with a friendly welcome message, setting the tone for a helpful and engaging conversation. When it comes to authoring topics, you have several options. First, if you prefer to start from scratch, you can create and name a topic from blank, adding trigger phrases to get things rolling. This option gives you complete control over the conversation's direction. Secondly, you can use Copilot to author topics using natural language. This intuitive method makes it easy to craft conversational passes without needing extensive technical knowledge. So whether you're using pre-made samples or creating your own topics, Copilot Studio offers a flexible and powerful way to manage conversational threads. In Copilot Studio, you can always manually create and edit topics, but there is a faster and smarter way. Instead of building everything from scratch, you can simply describe what you want your topic to do, and let Copilot Studio's AI take care of the rest. This saves you time and effort, especially when you're iterating or updating agent conversations. Just type a short description of the scenario like help a customer return a product, and Copilot Studio will generate a topic for you. It includes conversational responses and multiple types of notes, such as messages, questions, and actions. You can use the suggested default topic as is or treat it as starting point and customize it further. Either way, this natural language authoring feature makes it easier to build intelligent, responsive agents without needing deep technical skills. In Copilot Studio, you can update notes using natural language. Instead of manually editing each note, you can simply describe what you want to change and let Copilot do the work for you. Here's how it works. First, select the Copilot icon in the topic editor. Then, click on the note you want to change, or select the canvas to add a new one. The Edit with Copilot pane will open. Now, just describe your update in plain, simple language. For example, you might say, add a message that confirms the return label was sent, or change the question to ask for the product name. Copilot will interpret your request and update the note accordingly, saving your time and making the editing process much more intuitive. Let's see together how to create a topic directly in Copilot Studio. In this section, we will learn how to use trigger phrases. Copilot Studio topics consist of two primary elements: trigger phrases and conversational notes. Trigger phrases are phrases, keywords, or questions entered by users that relate to a specific issue, while conversation notes define how an agent should respond and what it should do. Trigger phrases are essential to how your agent understands and responds to users. They help train the agent's natural language understanding by teaching it what kinds of user inputs should activate a specific topic. These phrases are configured at the topic level, meaning each topic has its own set of sample expressions that represents how a user might ask about the issue. Think of a trigger phrase as the way a real person would naturally describe a problem. For example, if you're building a topic to help with lawn care, a user might type something like problem with weeds in lawn. Even if the phrase isn't an exact match, the agent uses NLU to interpret the intent and activate the most relevant topic. By adding 5 to 10 well-thought-out triggers phrases, you're giving your agent the context it needs to respond accurately and naturally, just like a helpful teammate who understands what you mean, even if you don't say it perfectly. Creating and organizing topics in Copilot Studio can be impressive if you follow some best practices. Here is how you can make your topic manageable and maintainable. First, aim to create bite-sized topics. Break down your content into smaller, easily digestible pieces. This makes it easy for users to find and understand the information they need without feeling overwhelmed. Next, focus on creating reusable topics. Identify common terms or information that can be used across multiple contexts. This not only saves time, but also ensures consistency in your content. To avoid topic overlap, clearly define the scope of each topic. Make sure each one covers a unique aspect of your content. Regularly review your topics to ensure there is no redundancy and that each topic serves a distinct purpose. Lastly, use entities to reduce the number of topics. Entities allow you to group related information under a single topic, making your content more streamlined and easier to manage. By leveraging entities, you can keep your topics list concise and organized. Use entities to reduce the number of topics. You should avoid duplicating logic when the variation could be stored in a variable. For example, instead of creating similar topics such as order pizza, order burger, order drinks, you could create one topic for order and the entity for food type with pizzas, burgers, and drinks as values. Creating effective trigger phrases can make a world of difference in capturing attention and driving action. Here are some best practices to keep in mind. First, aim to have at least 5 or 10 trigger phrases per topic. This variety ensures you cover different angles and keep your content engaging. Next, vary sentence structure and key terms. Mix things up to keep your audience interested and to cater to different preferences. Third, use short trigger phrases. Keep them snappy and to the point, making it easier for users to quickly grasp the message. Fourth, avoid single-word trigger phrases. They often lack context. Fifth, incorporate unique verbs and nouns, or a combination of both. This adds specificity and makes your phrases more compelling. Lastly, avoid using the same entity variation repeatedly. Diversify your language to keep your content fresh and engaging. By following these steps and these tips, you will be well on your way to crafting trigger phrases that truly engage and motivate your audience. Now that we have mastered managing triggers, let's dive into our next section where we'll explore how to manage topics. System topics are seamlessly integrated into Copilot Studio and automatically assigned to an agent upon creation. These topics are essential for helping your agent handle common system events, such as escalation, and include crucial behaviors like ending a conversation. The conversation start topic greets user and introduces the agent along with its capabilities. It's triggered when an agent first engages with a user in a conversation. Second, the conversational boosting topic generates answer from external data sources and is triggered when the agent can't find a match for the user query. The third one, the end of conversation topic, confirms with customers that their query has been answered. It's triggered from a redirection and should be called from your custom topics when you're ready to end the conversation. The first one on my screen, the escalate topic, informs customer if they need to speak with a human. It's triggered when talk to agent is matched or the escalate system event is called. And last not least on my screen, the fallback topic informs users that their query could not be matched to a topic and asks them to try again. It is triggered when the agent can't match the user question or message to a specific topic. In addition to the core system topics, there are several other essential system topics that enhance the functionality of your agent. First, multiple topics matched. This topic prompts users to choose their intended topic and sets a system variable to identify the triggered topic. It activates when a user's message closely matches multiple topics. On error, these topics inform customers that an error has occurred and if it's triggered whenever an error happens during the conversation. Reset conversation. This topic resets the conversation by clearing variable values and forcing the agent to use the latest published content. It's triggered through a redirection. And finally, sign in. This topic prompts customers to sign in when user authentication is enabled. It triggers at the beginning of the conversation when users are required to sign in or when the conversation reaches a node that uses authentication variables. These additional system topics ensure that your agent can handle a variety of scenarios smoothly and efficiently. When you create a new agent, sample topics are included to help you get started. You have the options to remove these sample topics by deleting them. However, system topics are built in and cannot be deleted. If there are system topics you don't need, you can simply disable them. Now, let's see these features in action. In this demonstration, you'll learn how to manage existing topics, create and edit topics using natural language, and manually create a topic using trigger phrases. In this demo, we will see how we can create and manage topics, and we will start by building an initial agent. To change it from the previous demo, this time I will not use describe section with Copilot, but I will rather use the configure section just to give you a different flavor of how we can do it. If I go with configure, I have a full opportunity to decide how to name, describe, and provide instruction to my agent. When you use Copilot, you can do it for going fast, or you can do it manually, as I'm doing here. As I want to reuse this agent further, I will call it real estate booking services, description, create booking for real estate properties, and instruction, create an agent for topics related to creating bookings for real estate properties. So this agent will help us to book different real estate properties. If I want, I can also modify the icon here. Outside of configure menu, you see that I could add knowledge sources here, but I will do it later. And also we have 3 dots on the right on create if you want update agent language. By default, it's English, but if I would deploy this agent in different languages, I can also do it in my top corner. And also next to it, I have advanced settings option, in which one I can select the solution that I want to use. I have different options here. I will use the default one. And also you have a specific schema. I can provide it. In my case, I will call it a new schema for a real estate booking services. After I'm satisfied with configuration and advanced option, I can create this agent. It will go to more advanced configuration page where you will find my top menu with overview, knowledge, tools, agents, and topics. I can test it just to check that everything is good so far. I will ask, how do I make a booking? I send that question to my agent. It's start my activity map. For a moment, I didn't provide any knowledge, so it will search on web different answers and provide me quite generic responses. It's normal because we didn't set up anything else so far. And now I would suggest that we'll go a bit further. We can enable, disable orchestration. By default, AI orchestration is activated. If you want, we can also disable it. And in this case, it will not use Copilot or GenAI to provide the answers. You change it on the main page, but by default, it's always activated. So if you want to disable it, you will need to go there. Also, a second tab that we already know, we have a knowledge. So now I can start by making it more specific. I can add a link to Microsoft website for searching information. So it will retrieve the data only from there. I can save it. We already saw it in our first model, how to add a knowledge resource. It's easy. And after I added the description, I check the knowledge, I deactivated orchestration. I also will activate an interesting feature in the testing track between topics. So it will help me to see how my agent is moving between different nodes and topics later. It's just next to your test your agent 3 dots, and here you have track between topics. This option helps to see how agent switch from topic to topic when I do test it. Now I will ask a question, how do I boost real estate promotions? And you see it's different. It showed me on my left side my topics. It's because I activated this option on the top right corner, track between topics. And also it's different now. It provides the reference to the data source that I specified. And by default, it's open the topics that was triggered, that was conversational boosting. If I want, I can go a bit further on this topic by adding a topic with Copilot. We saw it partly in our first module as well. When we use Copilot, we can provide a name, so we know that it will be customer details. It's always nice to know the customer information when they request a booking of the property visit. It's important. We can add description. And also when we use Copilot, you see that it's pre-created my triggers, customer details, and so on. It's provided also automatically a few nodes with 2 different questions: what is your email and what is your name? So it's a very smart tool. I didn't need to set up all of it. It's provided it for me. And also, if I want, I can just modify what Copilot created here. Or I can also use Copilot itself to make modification. For example, change what is your email address to say thank you to the name variable from the previous node, and then proceed to ask an email. And if you look now, what is it thank you message here, the name of the user, and after that, it's asked for the email address. So very simple. I didn't need to modify it manually. I just asked Copilot on the right to do it for me, to edit this topic for myself. Very fast, very easy. You saw that it's also add a variable. This way I can ask also summarize the information collected in adaptive cards. And the magic happens. We do have a adaptive card and the message that was created. This is a summary. That it's our adaptive card. We can open it and find the JSON here that was pre-created for us by Copilot. And if we want, we can reactivate this edit with Copilot option and continue to use it to modify our topic. For example, add a new multiple choice question to prompt the user if the details are correct with 2 options, and I ask for yes or no. And what Copilot did, it did create another node in our topic asking about the details, and it's provided as I asked 2 options, yes or no. You see, it's really low code, no code here. I didn't write any line of the code. Copilot did everything for me, and I can just test that everything that Copilot did works well. So I activate my trigger by saying customer information. It's asked me what is my name. I say Alexandra. It's asked me what is my email address. I will provide my email address here. So far, so good. And after that, it's provide our adaptive card. And it's asked if the details are correct, yes or no. And I say yes, and we came to the final part of this topic. Don't forget to save before leaving. As you saw, it's made me a reminder. I click on save. And now if we come back to our list of the topics, you will see in the custom one, there is customer details topic that was just created for me. And the second way of creating a topic will be from blank. And if I do create a topic from blank, it will be different because I don't use Copilot this time. I will parameter everything myself. And I can do the same what Copilot did for me before. I will provide the name of the topic. Let's use it for booking a real estate showing. I will select display name for this topic and description. Select the property and requested date and create a booking request. So this time, it was created for me. There is a trigger, users say a phrase, and I can also add here myself some trigger phrases. I can select edit. If I select edit, I will add some phrases. It's why I actually deactivated Copilot orchestration before to do it fully manually and show you how I can do it manually. So I will add some trigger phrases myself. Schedule a real estate showing. I want to book a real estate. For example, arrange the viewing. What else? Set up an appointment to view a house. And also plan a property viewing. It's usually recommended to set up at least between 5 or 10 short trigger phrases. Just for them, I set up 5. They appear here. And I can modify them when I want, but it's very important that your topic has different trigger phrases activate it, and after I'm satisfied with it, I'm happy. But again, to use this manually, please be sure that you deactivated AI orchestration. Otherwise, it will be AI that will do it for you. You can't have this manual setup. And as I can select these phrases manually and not automatically, it's just because I deactivated this option before. And if you check, we see that we do have our 2 different topics added and triggers available to us. And on it, let's come back to our presentation and speak a bit about the notes itself. Thank you for following the demo. Let's dive deeper now into configuring notes. As I already mentioned, trigger phrases are phrases, keywords, or questions entered by users that relate to a specific issue, while conversation notes define how an agent should respond and what it should do. Conversation notes are like the building blocks of a chat. They help guide customer interactions by showing messages, asking for info, triggering actions, or connecting to a live agent. When you start a new topic, it comes with a trigger phrases note. To add more notes, just click the plus button or icon between or after existing ones. It's like adding pieces to a puzzle. Let's explore the various note types available to enhance your experience. First, we have the send a message note. This note displays a message to the user, and it can include some basic formatting and numbering to make the information clear and organized. Next, there is the Ask a Question node. This node is designed to help the agent capture information from the user. The information gathered can influence the flow of the conversation or be used as variable in other parts of the agent. Then, we have the Ask the Adaptive Card node. This node allows you to add a JSON snippet which can be openly exchanged with other cloud apps and services, providing flexibility and integration. Last on the slide, there is the Add a Condition node. This node lets you add a condition to the topic flow, directing user down specific paths based on whether the condition is met or not. This ensures a tailored and responsive interaction. Variable management node is like keeping track of all the important details your agent needs to remember during a conversation. Think of it as a notepad where you jot down key information, like a username or preferences, so your agent can use it later to make the interaction more personalized and smooth. Topic management node is all about organizing the conversation into different sections. Imagine you're hosting a talk show and you have different segments for different topics. This helps your agent stay on track and handle multiple subjects without getting confused. The 8th point and the 8th note on my slide, a call to action, is when you prompt the user to do something specific, like clicking a button, filling out a form, or making a decision. It's like giving your audience a clear next step to keep the conversation moving forward and achieve a goal. Advanced features in agent topics are the cool extra tools that make your agent smarter and more capable. This could include things like integrating with other systems, using machine learning to understand user intent better, or handling complex queries with ease. Each question node includes 3 essential fields: Ask a question, Identify, and Save Response As. The Identify field offers several predefined options to streamline interaction and make the process more user-friendly. Ask a question is the text you want to present to the user. Identify defines what the agent should be listening for in the user response, such as a user entire response or a specific entity. And Save Response As, this defines how you want to save the data captured from the question, so it can be used as a variable later. Let's talk about closed list entities. It's a simple but powerful tool in Copilot Studio. A closed list entity is basically a fixed set of options your agent can recognize and work with. Think of it like a drop-down menu. You define the choices and the agent knows exactly what to expect. For example, if you're asking a customer to choose a product category like laptop, tablet, or phone, you can use a closed list entity to make sure those are the only options available. This helps the agent understand the input clearly and respond accurately. When you use a closed list entity in a question node, you can select values directly from that list. This keeps things consistent and makes it easier to validate user input. It's a great way to keep conversations structured, reduce confusion, and ensure your agent handles responses reliably. In Copilot Studio, behavior properties are essential for defining how your AI assistant interacts with user. These properties allow you to customize responses, manage conversation flow, and ensure a smooth user experience. By adjusting behavior properties, you can tailor the assistant's tone, response style, and interaction patterns to better suit your needs. Let's dive into the various items you can define while working with question properties in Copilot Studio. First, skip behavior. This settings allows you to control what happens when a user decides to skip a question. You can define whether the question should be skipped entirely, if a default answer should be provided, or if the user should be prompted with an alternative question. This ensures a smooth and flexible user experience. Next, we have the reprompt. This is a crucial feature for maintaining user engagement and accuracy. If a user provides an invalid or incomplete response, the retry prompt kicks in. You can customize the message that encourages the user to try again, guiding them to provide the correct information without feeling frustrated. Third one, additional entity validation. It allows you to add criteria to the basic test. For example, you might have a question node that accepts a number, but you might want to make sure that it's less than 10. You can also change the prompt to help the user enter a valid response. No valid entity found. This one defines what to do when your agent stops trying to get a valid response from the user. You can escalate to a human agent or provide a default value for now. You can also change the prompt to let the user know. And interruptions. Interruptions define if the user can switch to a different topic during the question. By mastering these properties, you can significantly enhance the functionality and user experience of your Copilot Studio projects. Adaptive cards are flexible, platform-independent components that you can customize to fit your needs. When delivered to a specific app, the JSON behind the card is automatically transformed into native UI that adapts to its environment. For instance, you might design a weather card that includes graphics and animations to show detailed forecasts. You can create these cards using the Adaptive Cards Designer or by writing the JSON manually. When you are ready to build your card, go to the Edit JSON section and enter the code. If you need more space to work, just click the Expand icon to open a larger view of the editor. Each topic you include in your agent is typically focused on a specific area. For instance, a topic like current weather will deliver weather-related data, while hours of operation will provide information about when a business is open. Even topics are distinct, they can still be connected or dependent one on other. Control flows in agent topic is about managing the sequences in which actions and decisions are carried out. Think of it as a roadmap that guides the agent through tasks and choices, making sure everything happens in the right order. This is especially useful when you want to redirect the conversation to another topic. There are several ways to manage control flows between topics. You can redirect the agent to a different topic, end the current topic, or end all topics entirely. You also have the option to transfer the conversation, jump to a specific step, or conclude the entire interaction. Condition nodes let you add branches to your topic, which means that the agent can make decisions based on what the user has already said. When using condition nodes to add branches in a topic, you can compare variables' values to determine the flow of the conversation. This allows you to create dynamic and responsive interaction based on the user input or other variables. For example, if you have a variable that stores the usage age, you can use a condition node to branch the conversation based on whether the user is minor or an adult. If the age is less than 18, you might direct the conversation toward topics suitable for younger audience. If the age is 18 or older, you can branch into topics more appropriate for adults. By effectively using condition nodes, you can create a more personalized and engaging experience for your users, ensuring that the conversation remains relevant and interesting based on their specific inputs and circumstances. You can compare one variable to another, or check if it matches a specific value. This branching is what transforms a simple one-way conversation into a dynamic, multi-layered experience. It allows the agent to respond differently depending on the situation, helping users get the right information or resolution. Sometimes branching happens automatically. For example, if you choose multiple choice in the Identify field or question node, the agent will automatically follow different paths based on the user's selection. You can supercharge your custom agent by adding tools. Think of them like gadgets in Superhero's Utility Belt. These tools help your agent respond automatically using something called generative orchestration. That means the agent can figure out the best way to help the user, whether it's pulling up a topic, searching knowledge, or activating a tool without you having to tell it exactly what to do. Let's say your agent is like a helpful robot. With orchestration turned on, it can decide whether to check the weather, look up business hours, or even call a custom service based on what the user asks. It's like giving your robot the ability to think on its feet. You can also call tools directly from within a topic if you want more control. For example, imagine a topic about booking a flight. You could have the agent call a tool that checks seats availability or pulls up frequently flyer points. There are lots of ways to add tools. You can use pre-built connectors to tap into popular services like Microsoft 365 or even Spotify. Want something custom? Create your own connector using Power Platform. You can also define agent flows like a mini to-do list for your agent or use prompts that pull from your knowledge base. If you're feeling adventurous, you can connect to REST API or even use something called MCP, which lets your agent talk to external service. And here is the cool one. With the computer use agent, your agent can actually interact with websites and desktop application, clicking buttons, choosing menus, and typing into fields like a real person. There are also two bonus options. Skills are like toolkits that group related tools together, and client tools let your agent send a request to the user's device to carry out an action and report back. Let's break down MCP, Model Context Protocol, in a way that makes sense. Think of MCP as a translator and traffic controller for AI models. It helps different models talk to each other and share the right information at the right time. Without MCP, it's like having a team of experts who all speak different languages and don't know when to jump in. With MCP, they are coordinated, efficient, and on the same page. Now when you use MCP with Copilot Studio, it's like giving your agent a backstage pass to a whole network of smart tools. For example, imagine your agent to helping users book a hotel. One model handles the calendar, another checks availability, and another confirms payment. MCP makes sure each model knows what is going on and when to act so the user gets a smooth, accurate experience. It's also great for complex workflows. Say you're building a training assistant. One model tracks progress, another recommends content, and another answers questions. MCP keeps them all aligned to your agent, feels like one smart, seamless system, not a bunch of disconnected parts. In short, MCP helps your agent work smarter, faster, and more reliably, especially when multiple models are involved. Unlike MCP, which helps different models communicate and stay in sync, both framework skills are most like plug-and-play assistants that specialize in doing specific tasks. Think of MCP as a backstage manager coordinating all the models, while both framework skills are the performers who step in to do the job. Both framework skills let you extend your Copilot agent with focused capabilities. For example, imagine your agent is helping with human resources tasks. You could add a scheduling skill that books interviews automatically. Or picture a customer support bot. It might use the troubleshooting skills to walk users through common fixes. A sales bot could use the common skills to pull up product details and pricing instantly. Using both framework skills is simple. First, decide what task you want your agent to handle, like booking, searching, or calculating. Then, choose a pre-built skill or create your own. And finally, plug it into your Copilot Studio agent using the configuration tools provided. In our next demonstration, you will discover how to manage notes, craft the conversation flow, guiding interactions smoothly and effectively. In our next demo, we will see how to manage notes. To do so, we will use the same agent that we created for topics management. You do see here our real estate booking service that was created in the previous demo. I will select it from the recent list of my agents, and I will come back to the section that we used previously, topics, and I will select customer details topics to edit our notes. We spoke about variables during our presentation. So the variables are available on each topic on the top, the third option. Here I can return the values to original topics or from original topics. If I want to make it available in different topics, I will just check it here and save it. So I have now 3 variables available in others location. And if I want, I can come back to a topic that we created before, book a real estate showing. And when we are here, we can click on plus button to add a node. And we do have different options. I will check first the send a message node, and we can provide here the message that will be triggered if one of the trigger phrase was provided by the user. And this message is, "Hi, I can help you with the booking." Makes sense. If you look a bit further, we can also add a next node. And inside, we do have send a message, ask a question, ask with adaptive card, add condition, as we do have an opportunity to go to another topic. And if I select go to another topic, here I will find my customer details topic that we just saw before. So I can also use those nodes for redirection between the topics. And here I redirected from my book a real estate showing to another topic. And as I activated those variables to be visible outside of other topic, you see that I do see here all these 3 variables that I checked manually just at the beginning of the data. Now you see why I did it before. I do see my details correct and email address and name here. And if I want, I can add another node. And this time I will add a condition. When I add a condition, you see that it's separate my flow of topic in 2 different directions. I can ask a condition if the details are correct. In this case, it will activate the next node. If the users say yes, the details are correct, it will provide an action. You remember in the previous demo, we came to this point that we asked the user yes or no on adaptive card. And now we are saying that if the user say yes, the details are correct, something will be triggered. Okay, so it's also help us to divide the route in different direction. If user say yes, it triggers that. And if a user says no, something else will happen. If users say yes, we can ask a question in this case. So we add our next node here, and we can say, which property do you want to see? So we confirm first for our users that what is his name, email address. We collect those details. We ask if the data is correct, if he provided his email address and name correctly. And after that, we activate the question, which property our user wants to see. And we'll identify here the entire response by our user. And we can save this response as a variable. By default, it's provided default name var1. It's always better to rename those variables to reuse them later. To rename a variable, it's very simple. Just click on it and you can modify the name. To use it later, I will call it as a variable name property name, and I will just save it. So I can reuse this variable later. I always recommend to keep clearly all your variables names correctly, and we can save after we added this variable. So now we do have a topic that is more clear. We ask users about details. We ask the user which property the user wants to see. And we can add now our next node. I will ask another question after user provide the property information that he or she wants. I will ask what date and time do you want to see the property. So we do have a direct call to action. And this time identify will not use the entire user response, but it will select date and time retrieval. So it will look on date and times that my user asked. And also again, I can click on a variable var1 that was created and rename it to reuse it later. And I will call it logically date and time variable and save the modification of this node. Starting to be a big topic. It's a lot of question. We do have a trigger. We do have a message, starter 1. How can I help you with the booking real estate property? We collect the info from our client. If the user says that the info is correct, we do ask what the user wants to see and when. So now as we have a clear topic with multiple nodes, you guess what? We can test it. We verify the track between topics is activated, so we can see in real time how our nodes are activated. And we do ask a question, or we provide a statement here saying, I want to book a real estate showing. It's trigger our first phrase, hi, I can help you with the booking of real estate. It's what we set up. It's asking me for my name. It's saying, thank you, Alexander. So it's became personalized. I do have a feeling that it's a real person somehow behind. And it's asking me for my email address. It's generate an adaptive card that we did in the previous demo. It's providing me two buttons, yes or no. I think yes, details are correct. You do see that it triggers the condition, yes, to the question. Which property do you want to see? I provide the address of the property that I'm interested in, and it will ask me what date and time I want to see the property. I will say tomorrow at 10 a.m. and it will finished here so far because it's the last question inside of our topic and it's worked all well. We can also go to settings and look on the security options in our settings, verifying how the user will connect to this chat. The authentication could be by Microsoft or it could be no authentication. While deactivated because I want to make it publicly available to all channels. Like you remember, I did deploy a website before that didn't ask any credentials. If I use no authentication, I can publish it to publicly available website. If I use authentication with Microsoft, it's useful if I want to publish this agent to Microsoft Teams. In my case, I want to make it publicly available. So I will publish it to a website. It's why I did select no authentication in the settings option of my agent. And now I will publish it. It was published. I do see a notification on the top. And I can share a preview to a demo website just to see how it looks. I do copy the link to this demo website. I will open it in my browser here. Copy paste the link and it's saying hello, I'm a real estate booking service, a virtual assistant, and I can select I want to book a property, and again it will activate the topic that we set up and we just check that it works perfectly. I hope you enjoy it. Let's come back to our presentation. And that wraps up our second session. We explored how to create agents topics manually using trigger phrases or by simply describing them in natural language. Thanks to natural language understanding, your agent can recognize what the user wants and guide the conversation to the right topic or action. We also saw how easy it is to delete or disable topics when they are no longer needed. And we took a closer look at nodes, the building blocks that control how the conversation flows, helping your agent respond smoothly and effectively. In short, we learned how to build topics, manage them, and shape the conversation using nodes. You now have the essential skills to design smart, responsive agents in Copilot Studio. This concludes our session. I hope you will join us as we journey through this course. I encourage you to watch other videos in the course or search out your next favorite topic on Microsoft Learn at ak.ms/learn. Thank you and see you soon!